Stop accusing yourself of having a bad gardening touch when your potted tomatoes produced only 4 miserable fruits all summer. The real issue is sitting beneath the soil. Most container gardens collapse by week 4, and it is not because watering was forgotten. The bigger problem is pots that are far too tiny, while the soil slowly cuts oxygen away from the roots. Over the next 11 minutes, you will learn the exact container size for 7 vegetables, along with a 50-cent grandmother-style soil mix that takes only 60 seconds to prepare. There's also a quick weekly inspection that lasts just 30 seconds. One viewer used it and harvested 42 cherry tomatoes from only 4 plants. This is not random advice about growing extra food. You're getting 7 precise vegetables, exact container measurements in gallons and centimeters, plus a soil blend used by my grandmother for 40 years. It is safe around children and pets, and the total expense stays below $50. Here is the breakdown. First, the reason 80% of container gardens fail by week 4. Second, the 1-2-3 pot system called Grandma's Lazy Formula. Third, a countdown featuring 7 vegetables that secretly outperform raised beds once the fundamentals are correct. Grab a pen. By the time we reach number 1, you will already have the complete setup needed to begin planting tomorrow morning. Around 80% of beginners who try container gardening give up after the second year. Not because the work is difficult, they simply followed bad instructions from the start. What actually destroys most plants happens quietly below the surface every night. When a tomato grows inside a 1-gallon or 2-gallon container, the roots eventually slam into the sides, circle the bottom, and stop spreading outward. Place that same cherry tomato inside a 7-gallon pot, and everything changes. The roots expand freely, nutrients move better, and production increases 3 to 1 compared to the identical plant inside a 2-gallon container. The soil is unchanged. The sunlight is identical. Only the size of the container is different. The second mistake is harder to notice. Many people buy regular garden dirt from a hardware store and pour it into pots. That soil was made for outdoor ground use, spread loosely with worms and roots constantly turning it over. Inside a container, it hardens into something like a brick after only 1 week. Air disappears. Drainage vanishes. The roots slowly choke. Try a simple test. Push your finger into garden soil sitting in a container after 1 week. It feels like wet cardboard. Now touch a real potting blend. Soft, loose, crumbly. Roots thrive there. In the first one, they suffocate. Here's the shift in thinking. Lazy gardening does not mean ignoring the plants. It means building the setup correctly one time and letting the system carry itself afterward. A container is not decoration. It is an entire growing system. And every growing system needs 2 things: correct container size and proper soil. Get those right, and the plant handles the next 3 solid months by itself. A viewer in Florida named BJ tested tomatoes inside a 1-gallon pot for 2 straight years. 4 fruits each season. Last spring, the setup changed to a 7-gallon bucket filled with true potting mix. The result became 38 tomatoes. Same tomato type, same balcony, same amount of sunlight. The only difference was the soil and the container. So here comes the 1-2-3 pot system. 3 simple steps. Build it once, then let the plant take over. This grandmother method works on a fire escape, a 4th-floor balcony, or even a small patio beside a parking area. Write this down. Step 1 is matching the container to the crop. Radish needs 1 gallon and 15 centimeter depth. Bush beans grow best in 3 gallons with 25 centimeter depth. Kale or Swiss chard require 5 gallons and 30 centimeters. Carrots also need 5 gallons, but depth matters more. Use 35 centimeters deep because root vegetables need space downward, not sideways. Peppers need 5 gallons with 30 centimeter depth. Cherry tomatoes require a minimum of 7 gallons and 35 centimeters. Potatoes need 10 gallons and 40 centimeters inside a fabric grow bag. Step 2 is the grandmother 50-cent soil formula. Use equal portions: 1 part compost, 1 part cocoa coir, 1 part perlite. Mix everything directly inside the pot. It takes 60 seconds. 1 batch fills about 5 containers. Compost feeds the plant. Cocoa coir keeps moisture balanced without drowning roots. And perlite, the old trick mentioned earlier, is what grandmother called volcano rock. It keeps air spaces open so roots continue breathing even after hard rain. Perlite is the hidden weapon, tiny volcanic stones that stay loose forever and never compact. My grandmother added it to every food container she used across 40 years. 1 porch garden supplied meals for a family of 6 through every summer. That century-old soil method still costs around $1 per bag at nearly every garden center. Step 3 is the 32-second weekly inspection. Push your index finger 2 inches into the soil. If it feels dry, water deeply. If moisture remains, skip watering for the day. Every 3 weeks, place 1 tablespoon of compost across the surface as a gentle feeding. No application, no calendar, just your finger. Set the system correctly once, and the plant takes over from there. That is exactly why it is called lazy gardening. Now the question becomes this: which 7 vegetables return the biggest reward from such a tiny investment? Number 7 is the least expensive seed on the list. Number 1 can produce as much as 8 pounds of food directly from your patio. Let the countdown begin. Number 7 is radish. Now this is the simplest crop here. The taproot stays small and reaches maturity in only 22 days. One container can deliver 4 complete harvests in a single summer. Use a 1-gallon pot with 15 centimeter depth. Any food-safe container works, even a recycled yogurt tub. The biggest mistake is crowding the seeds too closely together. Thin them until only 1 plant remains every 5 centimeters. Otherwise, you get beautiful leaves above the soil and no real roots underneath. A viewer in Oregon named RS harvested 4 complete crop cycles during one summer from a single recycled yogurt container sitting on a kitchen windowsill. Number 6 is bush beans. Most people miss this detail. Bush beans create their own nitrogen. The roots pull nitrogen from the air and transform it into plant nutrition underground. That means fertilizer should never be added to a bush bean container. Extra nitrogen creates thick, leafy plants with almost no beans. Use a 3-gallon pot with 25 centimeter depth. Place 2 or 3 plants inside each container. A viewer in Michigan named TK collected 2 full cups of fresh beans every week for 6 consecutive weeks, using 1 5-gallon bucket on an apartment deck. Kale or Swiss chard is number 5. This is the cut and come again marvel. Each time you harvest an outer leaf, the plant produces 2 more to replace it. Use a 5-gallon pot with 30 centimeter depth and only 1 plant per container. Do not crowd it. Always harvest only the outer leaves. Never touch the central crown, or the plant will stop producing. A viewer in Vermont named ML harvested kale nonstop from May through November. From a single container on their apartment balcony, they enjoyed 7 months of fresh greens. Number 4 is carrot. Carrots do not require wide containers, but they need deep ones. The taproot grows straight down. Any obstruction makes the root fork or grow sideways. Use at least 35 centimeter depth, about 14 inches for US viewers. A tall, narrow 5-gallon pot works perfectly. Add extra coco coir to keep the soil loose to the very bottom. Heavy layers stop the growing root tip cold. A viewer in Texas named DW had 2 failed seasons with forked carrots in a raised bed. Switching to a deep, narrow container with loose soil, they harvested 30 straight, clean roots in one go. Halfway there, 4 down, 3 to go before reaching the top 3. Before number 3, here's the grandma trick that keeps rats out without chemicals, safe for kids and pets. It works on fire escapes, balconies, and open patios. Number 3 is pepper. A root fact most never hear: pepper roots love warm soil. A dark or black 5-gallon plastic pot absorbs heat and keeps the root zone about 5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the surrounding ground. That warm zone triggers earlier fruiting and increases total seasonal yield. Always water at the base. Wet leaves cause fungal issues fast. A viewer in Arizona named GP harvested 47 jalapenos from one black 5-gallon pot on a hot southwest patio in a single season. Number 2 is cherry tomato. Use a minimum 7-gallon pot. This is non-negotiable. Choose a determinate variety like Tumbling Tom or Patio Princess that bushes out instead of climbing. These varieties were bred specifically for containers. Cage the plant on day 1. Waiting until week 4 risks damaging fragile roots. A viewer in Austin, Texas named LM grew 42 cherry tomatoes from 4 plants on a 4 by 6 foot balcony in one season. 42 tomatoes from only 4 plants. Small balcony, 1, 2, 3 pot system in action. Number 1 is potato in a fabric grow bag. Potato stolons, the underground runners that make potatoes, grow downward rather than sideways. More stolons per square foot means more potatoes per harvest. Use a 10-gallon fabric bag with 40 centimeter depth and food-grade material. A technique doubles yield. When the plant grows taller, add more soil to bury lower stems. Each buried stem sprouts new stolons, more potatoes. Last summer, a viewer emptied her 10-gallon bag onto a patio and 8 pounds of potatoes spilled out. 8 pounds from one bag for $5. 3 quick safety rules. First, always use food-grade containers. HDPE recycling code 2, fabric grow bags, or glazed ceramic are safe for food crops. Avoid PVC code 3 and polycarbonate code 7. Second, the rat trick. Wrap container rims with hardware cloth and plant a mint border around the edge. Rats dislike the smell and cannot chew through the mesh. No chemicals, fully safe. Third, cage tomatoes on day 1 and train pepper branches early. Patience is rewarded. These habits add maybe 2 minutes per season. Classic lazy gardener efficiency. 7 vegetables. 3 steps, under $50 total. Container failure is not about a green thumb. Fix pot size and soil compaction, and the plants handle the rest. 1, 2, 3 pot system. Right pot per crop. Grandma's 50-cent recipe of compost, coco coir, and perlite, plus the 32-second weekly finger test. That is the century-old soil trick Grandma called volcano rock. Tonight, pick one vegetable from this list. Grab a $5 container, drill 4 drainage holes, mix the 3-part soil, and plant it tomorrow morning. By the time a neighbor finishes a raised bed, you will be harvesting, and they will be asking for your secret.